Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is House of Cards, Season 6. At the end of last season, Claire Underwood was being sworn in as president after Frank resigned due to all the scandals. The plan was he was going to run things from the background, but Claire decides to ignore him and she's like, my turn! So we're set up for an epic Underwood vs. Underwood showdown. Except Kevin Spacey's fired from the show because of his real-life scandals, so he dies unceremoniously off-screen due to liver failure. Claire's new antagonists are the Shepherd siblings, Bill and Annette. They're billionaires, own a giant corporation. Bill has a lot of things he wants Claire to do, including sign this one bill lowering his factory regulations, but Claire's not going to let anyone tell her what to do. So on the way home, a shot taken at her. Bill's like, yeah, that was just a warning, gonna scare her, but Claire's not easily scared. So the Shepherds hire Seth Grayson, the Underwood's old press secretary who knows a lot of her secrets, and Claire's vice president Mark Usher is in bed with the Shepherds. Literally, he's banging the sister. And he has Claire's biggest dirty laundry, the dead body of writer Tom Yates, who Claire murdered last season, and Mark helped cover up. He's like, Claire, you gotta work with the Shepherds, you have no choice. So that night, Bill Shepherd literally forces her to sign his bill. Now Doug Stamper. Last season, he confessed to the murder of Zoe Barnes to cover for Frank. There's no evidence except his confession, so instead of jail, he's under psychiatric evaluation. But with Frank dead now, he's like, you know what, I recant my confession, I'm out of here. He doesn't like Claire much, he was always Frank's man, but she's like, Doug, I need your help with something. It's Kathy Durant. Frank very unstealthily pushed her down the stairs last season, but she survived, mostly recovered now. She's like, look, just let me retire in peace, but Claire's not about to leave that loose end hanging out. She tells her other advisor, Jane Davis, to have her killed, but when Kathy meets her for lunch, it's very obviously an assassination, so she bails out of there, but the call comes in, Kathy's still dead. But neither Jane or Doug did it. Kathy faked her death, she's alive, on the run. But no one knows that, so they have a funeral, and Viktor Petrov, the Russian president, comes. They have a secret backroom meeting to divvy up Syria, where they've been fighting a proxy war. Mark Usher's like, hey, the Shepherds company gets drilling rights to the stuff, that's our deal. And Claire's like, yeah, I'm owned by the Shepherds, I agree. After this, Claire has a breakdown, but she refuses to resign, so the cabinet has to vote to kick her out. But Claire was faking it, so she busts in there before they could turn the paper in. She fires all of them, and she appoints her all-new, all-female cabinet. Mark Usher and the Shepherds are gonna fight back, but Claire had a double secret meeting with Viktor Petrov where she gave him the oil rights in exchange for taking credit for killing Tom Yates. Petrov's like, yes, my government kills many people, this is no problem. So the leaks come from Russia and they tie Mark Usher into it, so he is effectively sidelined. Now one of the Shepherd plants has a chemical leak, and this reporter chick is investigating, finds out that Bill Shepherd knew about it and let it happen, so he goes to jail for a bit. He's out real quick, but then he's dying of some random disease, so here's a fantastic actor, totally wasted. His sister Annette Shepherd busts out the big avocados and drops Claire's abortion scandals, but Claire manages to blow those off no problem, like it was medically necessary, the baby was dying or whatever. Reporter Tom Hammerschmidt is still writing his article trying to take down the Underwoods, but Doug won't let that happen because it would hurt Frank's reputation too, so Claire finally has Hammerschmidt killed. They learn Kathy's still alive and somehow track her down and kill her too. Claire also assassinates Jane Davis, just cause, you know, it's better in threes. How is she assassinating all these people? Well, apparently with the help of FBI guy she and Frank used all these years. He had a baby and is trying to retire, but she's like, yo, I will eat your baby, no retirement for you. Doug finds out, apparently Frank wrote a secret will leaving him everything. When he confronts Claire, she's like, no, that's null and void now because I'm preggers. Yeah, it's Frank's baby. I'm skeptical of that. There's a time skip and Claire really is pregnant, which gets a lot of the public on her side, but Annette Shepherd's not worried. The Supreme Court's reviewing the bill they made Claire sign earlier, which would severely limit the president's power, and they own the judge, so it's gonna go through. Unfortunately, Claire gets the proof this judge is working with the Shepherds, so she shuts that down. Then there's a whole thing with some app the Shepherd Foundation has that mines people's phones to influence their voting, which is exactly what Claire and Frank did in the last election. So the heat goes on to Duncan Shepherd, Annette's son, who secretly was the son of the housekeeper, but that doesn't matter. Anyway, he's under arrest. But arresting her son is the final straw for Annette, so she has a secret meeting of the powerful friends, and it's like, yeah, we gonna assassinate the president. They bring in Doug Stamper to the conspiracy, who's grown an epic beard. Earlier, he found Frank's secret audio diary he left for him, and he's been listening to it nonstop, going crazy, living in a van. When Claire starts throwing Frank under the bus for his bad deeds, Doug doesn't like that, so Doug starts leaking some of the diary to the press, which shows Claire knew about and participated in some of the illegal stuff Frank did. To distract from this, Claire makes up another terror threat, and she's literally going to nuke part of Syria to take out the terrorists there. So the nuclear football's coming in, and the carrier is actually the Shepherd's assassin, but Claire was ready for him because Doug told her about it. Oh, Doug was working for her the whole time? What? Yeah, he brings her the names of everyone else in the plot. I'm not sure why. I think they had a deal where she would posthumously pardon Frank if he helped her. It's unclear, but in any case, these two share a victory drink, even though though Doug is famously sober and Claire is very pregnant. And then a bigger revelation comes out. Doug was the one who killed Frank Underwood. Apparently, Frank went off the deep end when Claire cut him out, so he was gonna literally kill Claire, and Doug was like, oh, I have to stop you. I have to kill the man to save his legacy. Doug's emotions are all mixed up. Maybe he's gonna kill Claire now, but he decides not to. Claire decides she'd better kill him though. Oh, stabbed. She's like, don't worry, Dougie, I'll take your pain away. And without any further explanation or resolution, that's how season 6 comes to an end. It's barely worth analyzing the ending because the show's over and the season was a mess. But assumedly, Doug gets blamed for an assassination attempt and the list of conspirators all get arrested. And so, with no enemies left and no skeletons in the closet, Claire has a nice happy presidency with no more problems. If the train wreck of season 6 made you yearn for the good old days, watch my season 1 and 2 recap. They're really good. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out, and I'm bringing you lots of good content, all sorts of shows and movies. And Netflix, hey, I am open to being your official recap guy. Give people an option instead of the boring previously on style, you know? Man of Recaps, out.